All right, everybody, welcome to the real estate forecast. Super excited. Took a little while, but we finally got scheduled up with Joseph and Andrea. They are members of the SUBTO community. They do a very good job of explaining creative finance. And at Clever Summit, one of the things that we had to do at the breaks of our meetings was meet 5 new people. And at our first break, I turned around and Joseph, Andrea, Hunter, and Love and Hope were the first 5 people that I met. So, I'm super excited to have them in. I've been looking at some of their social media stuff and the things that they've been doing. And I'm interested to just kind of pick their brains about it and, let them kind of explain how they're doing, what they're doing, and show the successes that they're having, and just the regular deal that we do here on the real estate forecast. So get ready for some value, and other than that, let's go.
No.
Okay.
Did that work?
Should we try putting on a
Speaker.
headset and see?
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
awesome.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. How are y'all? It's so good
We're
to
good.
hear
We're
y'all's
so
voices.
thankful that you've been so patient and like understanding with like our schedule and like having to change everything around. So we appreciate you.
Listen, I look, that's one of the reasons that I want to have y'all on this show is because I know that y'all are out there, you're actually doing it. You got busy schedules, and I know that your time is important. So that, I knew that I was going to be respectful of your time because I know that y'all have a business that you're running, you have tons of stuff that you're doing. So I was totally cool to be flexible with the schedule, and it
Yeah,
didn't
we
bother me at all.
appreciate
So
it.
yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
So, I was kind of talking like before y'all came on about how we first met.
Mm.
When I got to Clever, it was my first 2 weeks basically of like really getting into the game. So y'all were like really the first people that I'd talked to, and I thought
That's
that
kind
was
of crazy.
it is, because that first break, I turned around and you, Hope, Love, because I haven't talked to Love since then, but and then you two were sitting right there, and we had that conversation, and it really set the tone for my week. Like, I don't know, just talking to y'all like gave me this sense of like security. I don't know, y'all were like really welcoming,
That's
and
awesome.
it made me like, you know, go into the rest of the event like thinking, oh, everybody's gonna be, and I had that energy throughout. So I really think y'all set me up for a good path for the event. It was a little bit overwhelming, but
I
how
mean,
how how
yeah.
was it for y'all?
I mean, no, like I think the same thing because in general, like every time we go to these events, the first thing, right? Like first impressions are just so important. And so like just making sure that again that we're being friendly, we're being warm, like with all across the board with everyone we talk to at the event because the purpose of being there in general is just like to build relationships, network, going with an intention of seeing like, okay, can I get PML? Can I get leads? Can I partner up with somebody? Or just have like a friendship with somebody, right? At the end of the day. So I'm glad we were able, I guess, to emit that energy to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I've really learned since, because I didn't know this going in, but like that's really important to have like an intent of like why you're going to this
Mhm.
event. Like, what are you looking to get out of it? Like, are you
Right.
going there to look for PLM, or like what is it that you're going for? So,
Mhm.
um, I think it was Keston that was talking to me about that, but um, so I thought for some reason I thought you guys lived on the East Coast. Y'all are in Arizona?
Yeah, I mean we've been to Florida,
Yeah.
right?
I
But like,
mean, we live here and our market is here, so um, and I don't think we plan on switching it anytime soon. We live in Arizona,
we
so
like the West Coast, yeah.
Did
yeah,
y'all grew up there?
yeah.
Yeah,
I was born and raised here.
same. I was born and raised here and I lived in California for a few years, but I hadn't really visited the East Coast really up until like recently that we went to Florida once, or twice actually, but I mean really we just belong to the West Coast.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
really, for the rest of our real estate careers, we really just want to buy in warm markets.
Hmm.
That's something that we really prioritize. So most of our properties are probably going to be on the West Coast.
Right.
Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, me and Catherine, we're looking to move more towards that way too. Once we get, you know, kind of more settled in with the business and everything. You know, we're not trying to make any big massive moves right this second.
Right.
Now, so y'all are both licensed, correct?
No, actually,
No.
I was going to get my license and become a realtor as a form of just, I guess, representing us, you know, as a company as well. But I mean, I never really went because I know you're also limited in a sense as like, well, they say you're not technically limited, but you know, I felt like I had certain limitations as far as like pitching certain things or having certain conversations. So I never
Yeah.
got licensed. I just kind of leverage and utilize other people's license that, you know, could essentially like partner up with us, I guess.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's really cool because I think a lot of people that are really just kind of starting to get into them, you know, I want to start real estate investing. A lot of people have these conversations with their family and they're like, oh, you need to take the license route. Like that's how you do real estate. Like
Yeah.
Right. It's the most traditional,
coming
right?
from somebody who hasn't even been in the real estate business and doesn't know it, right?
Right.
So it's you know a decision that I'm still having to make because I've like paid for the pre-licensing course, but I'm just like, you know, I don't know. Because I don't want to be a listing agent. Like
Right.
that's not what I want my career to be. So
For sure.
it's just some things that I've been thinking about. So I've really started slowing things down. I've started reading a lot
Okay.
and just trying to just become more knowledgeable and add to my skill set.
For sure.
So that when I do get to the point to where I'm ready, that I have my skills. And it's not that I'm not taking action, but it's more of like, you know, practice a little, action a little, practice a little, action a little.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely suggest you apply what you're learning, you know, as quickly as you can.
Mhm.
That's kind of something that we started doing just from the jump, right? I mean, we were watching Pace Morby's videos, and I want to say, like 3 weeks into learning, we just started applying, and
Immediately. Yeah.
I don't think we've really found ourselves having to jump in there too much at all, except when we really need questions answered. So it's definitely more about applying,
Right.
right?
Just
That's
to even add to that, sorry to cut you off,
no,
but
you're fine.
yeah, just to even add to that, like being a licensed agent, I think you definitely could leverage that, right? Because people say like you can double dip, but even just having or knowing someone like the who not how concept, maybe having your wife or you know having that dual kind of relationship where someone is the investor and the other person's the agent or whatever. Because I mean, you don't necessarily have to know everything at the end of the day. Like luckily we had a community like SUBTO to like fall back on at the end of the day, but really it was just you can find your answers on Google through talking to people.
Just being as resourceful as you can.
Yeah, you have to be super resourceful. And you know, one of the actions that you guys take a lot that I've seen on your social media, that I think maybe kind of a little bit underrated is the door knocking and how effective y'all are doing that. Just some of the conversations that I've seen from some of your reels, it's so cool how you're just going up to the door, you're actually seeing the person face to face, and you're just giving them the options. You're not trying to force anything. Like,
Right.
hey, here is what could happen.
Exactly. I mean, like that was the biggest thing for us because like Pace also really emphasized like in general, whether you're in the real estate space or not, like just having, you know, bringing your best foot forward and starting with value rather than trying to take something away. And I mean, if you really think about it, these people are being reached out to through text, through message, through mail, door knocked, right? And so like we want to set ourselves apart by starting with that value, right? Like, hey, we're not here to take your house. We're not here to do anything like that. Like, we're genuinely here to help and seeing if you can actually stay in the property. And at that point, you know, their guard totally comes down because they're like, okay, you're someone we can trust. You're not, and a lot of people will say like you're kind of shysty if you're just trying to buy the property, right? And it really kind of can feel that way, especially if like understanding their situation. They're going through a
Mhm.
financial hardship or whatever the case may be. And so like just I guess having humility and like empathy towards their situation and addressing it that way, because I mean really at the end of the day how we benefit is obviously trying to purchase the home at the end of the day,
Mhm.
but that doesn't always have to be the end goal, I guess.
Yeah, and that can be viewed in a negative light really easily. Yeah,
Right.
I completely agree. How long have y'all been in real estate?
I mean, so starting off with me, I have been studying for a little over a year, but I really got into real estate and like actually applying myself in the real estate space in October of last year. So I'm about to be actively in it for a year and studying for a little over a year in real estate.
Same thing
Okay.
here. Yeah, me and Andrea kind of both left our
W-2s.
W-2s around the same time. We got into SUBTO, and I mean, we both had the intention to, just make this our new lifestyle. We kind of burned bridges with everything that, was kind of holding us back from, creating this dream
New
and making
life,
it a
yeah.
reality. So yeah,
Absolutely.
It's been a
same
little
time.
like give or take a year, like actively really practicing and like I said, applying ourselves to reaching out to people and
And,
whatnot.
and that's every single day, every week. So
Right. It's not
And
like yeah.
that's so great. And I want to point this out because see, there's a really big difference in between, see, because if you take my situation, a year or so, 11 months ago, I got my first wholesale deal.
Okay.
yeah,
And I had kind of like dove in and taken action, but it was more of like a simple action. Like I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew how to cold call because I had been doing that a previous job. So I just went into it and I got it and I was like, okay, I was pumped up. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to turn this into a business.
yeah,
But my background, me and Catherine went through bad addiction through our early 20s. And
Oh, okay.
so I became a very undisciplined person and, just my whole life, like I completely lost who I was as a person. And so like, I knew that, hey, I want to try to do this real estate thing,
Mm,
but as a person on a personal level, I couldn't do what I like that action and all that stuff. I've had to like, I think so when I came back from Clever Summit and, since then kind of it's been this journey of me, like I've told you, I've been reading a lot and I've
yeah,
been practicing meditation and taking all these action steps
awesome.
just to where I can get to the point to where like, all right, now I can take action every day.
yeah,
Like
Right.
I actually feel that now. Like, I know that, coaching is going to be the fastest way for me to get to where I want to go. So, I knew that I had to go take the action and get a W-2 so that I could save up to get the coaching. So
yeah,
boom,
Yeah.
already did that. Boom, I got that. So now I'm saving up. Coaching's next. So, I just think that it's important to point that out because one year looks different for everybody. And I think if I would have realized what that I needed to work on myself, I could have
Mhm.
sped the process up so much more, but I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
right,
No, for sure. I can even say like if I'm honestly speaking, I wasn't like entrepreneurial mindset or like business mindset at all. I think Joseph has always had that from his mom because his mom was in real estate for a good amount of time before we even got introduced. And I didn't kind of believe in real estate in the very beginning. Like I didn't think it was anything that I could find. I kind of felt like it was scammy, I guess. And so like I never really looked at real estate in a positive light. And Joseph kind of dragged me along with it. I'm like, okay, like I can trust in this. But really like I had to work really hard on my mindset and really prepare myself because I just didn't believe in it. And like it really boiled down to believing in myself, I guess you could say, because I also felt like obviously you had gone through a little bit of adversity, a little different story, right? You and your wife, but
Hmm.
in the same token, like I just felt like I wasn't prepared to really take it on, and like now figuring out, like, you just have to surround yourselves, like what you're doing right now, like reaching out to people in real estate. I think that's the biggest key that people lack, is like you just have to immerse yourself in the community first, and then through that you can apply yourself, you can, take the action and get advice along the way.
Yeah. Just to touch on that, I really feel like you're building good relationships here, right? And you're definitely able to then reach back out to these people and really get some questions answered, because you're providing a value here to be asking people questions, and you're providing that to your followers, right? So I think that's very awesome and like impactful within its own. But just to kind of touch on what you were talking about earlier, yeah, bro, of course. Mindset, right, is definitely a big motivating factor to what got us going.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we were able to put ourselves in that mindset to want to grow and be able to, get to the level where we want to be business owners, it was really just
everything else came second almost.
Yeah, everything just kind of started to stack on top, kind of like a game of dominoes. So it really worked out.
Yeah, it's that grind. It's tough, and you got to know that treasure is out there, and you got to know that you're the person that's gonna find that treasure.
Right. We all deserve a certain level of success, and it's only us who can take us to that point. And so, I mean, really what you're doing, I think it's going to take you pretty far, because at the end of the day, people want to feel like they're important. And so when you're interviewing someone, you're building kind of like the Sandler selling method, right? Like you're building instant rapport and relationship just based off of what you're doing. So I think if you keep this up, like, and even with the name, super smart.
Thank you. You know what? And it came because of Clever Summit. The 4, okay. So it came because of that, but I've thought of so many different reasons since then. Like the 4 like motivation, condition, timeline, price. Like I've thought of like so many little different things that it could be. So I appreciate that. Another thing that I wanted to ask you guys was, how is it that how do y'all handle being a couple and running a business together?
I would like to hear Joseph's response.
Yeah. I actually think this might be one of the easiest responses. I think there just has to be like an actual connection between the two to actually be able to make something happen. For the people that don't know, me and Andrea have been together for around 8 years now, ever since we started dating sophomore year of high school. Now we're 23 years old. So, we've been together for a long time. We understand each other and how to communicate with each other. So that's definitely been like a very key role in letting us to work with each other. Because at the end of the day, you also have to realize, like, one person has one job, another person has another job. And if you're able to then like have confidence that that person will be able to complete that job, like
you can focus on
you can focus on yourself and your tasks, and things will just go a lot easier.
I'll say for me, like a really big thing for me had been setting up boundaries really early on, even in a relationship early on. But as far as business partners goes, right, and then also being in a relationship, is like, we obviously work from home, so the office is strictly the office space, the bedroom is strictly the bedroom, and like just making sure, like, because almost like during COVID, right, people were stuck at home, so you had to start creating spaces in a place that you're now going to be in 24/7. And so like that was number one, is just like the boundaries, I guess, and within our space that I kind of hang out in every day, and like making sure that those are completely separated, that you can't drag, business into the bedroom, right? Business belongs in the office. And then I guess just another thing for our relationship now, I guess, just full disclosures along the way. Like as things come up, I'm the type of person to address it right off the bat. That way it doesn't grow into anything larger than what it has to be. And so I guess just right communication, just totally disclosing when someone's uncomfortable, when you feel like something isn't moving in the right direction. And I guess being comfortable having those uncomfortable conversations, that's really what's helped us grow as, business partners, as a couple, as friends, as like, I guess anything really.
Life partners.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, it's funny. 5 days ago, Catherine and I have been together for 8 years. So
Oh,
that's like,
congratulations.
that's pretty crazy. Thank you. Yeah, so 8 years, and thank you for that. I really think that, so you kind of have your own defined roles of
Right.
Yes,
who's doing what.
correct.
Okay, so that's very helpful. You know, me and Catherine, I think one of our biggest struggles has been that communication,
Mm.
and really knowing where each other's at. And I think, you know, sometimes maybe we hold back from having those uncomfortable conversations when they need to be had.
Mm.
Um, you know, just hearing that come from y'all is going to be helpful towards me and my relationship, my business, and my life. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let's see, what other questions did I want to ask you? Okay, so I know that I was looking at your Instagram reels, and y'all have acquired your first investment property. Is that correct?
We acquired our first fix and flip. So now we went from wholesaling to finally investing in real estate. And so
Congratulations.
now we actually have skin in the game. Thank you.
Yes.
That's kind of like it is kind of like a graduation moment, I guess you can say, because wholesale is somewhat entry level, right? It's kind of what everyone starts off in real estate, unless you have some crazy foundation or partners who can, drag you along the way. But for us, being that we're new to real estate, we're new to the concept, when we finally got to invest, we kind of felt like, wow, we're kind of investors now. Like we really can say that, like we've truly invested in real estate.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we just have a fix and flip that's hopefully, it looks like it's about to wrap up pretty soon. We partnered up with Kyle Allen. Shout out to Kyle Allen because he's pretty cool and really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I feel like a true investor.
Yeah, so just a little bit more detail about what we're actually doing. So they were able to find the deal, right?
Mhm.
They were able to lock it up. And pretty much what we had to do is just bring half of the rehab costs to the table. So they were very nice to be able to have let us have 30% equity on the property. So whenever the property does sell, we're making a little bit more than the interest
Right.
if we were to do an interest deal with them. So
Yeah.
very cool deal, and should be done here pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So did you get into it creatively, or is it a cash deal?
It was a cash deal. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cash.
It was on market, to be more specific. It was an agent outreach deal.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I love agent outreach. That's where I'm the most comfortable, I would say.
Okay.
You know, I don't have any problems calling sellers. I wouldn't say I'm uncomfortable calling sellers. I just have more experience. The calling an agent, working with an agent, talking
Right.
to them, like I've been through the process with them. I know how everything, to a certain extent works. So
Yeah.
Right.
I I want to, you know, continue doing what I'm doing, and then once I have the money to get into a program, I'm really gonna buckle down hard, and I'm gonna hit it. I want to be right there with you guys, and maybe even move over there to Arizona, really get right
It's
on in the game.
it's kind of crazy. A lot of people from the East Coast have moved over here. Like, I don't know, there have just been so many individuals just from being in the SUBTO community that I've seen, like they were in, on the east side or whatever, New York and I don't know what other states, and everyone's just moving over here. And I think it also has to do with those warmer climates, right? And I think that's like a big attraction for a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, it's so humid over here. It kills.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I mean, it's hard to upkeep property in humid states and states that have crazy climates. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
we go through like all 4 seasons in a day in Alabama sometimes.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like it is wild some days. I'm like, oh my gosh, but you know, we really did. So we've been thinking of moving west. We were thinking maybe Texas, maybe Arizona, but I think part of it is just like, you know, I kind of want to go where the highest level of competition is. Like if I'm gonna do something to the highest level, like because when I made this decision, like to myself, like I didn't make a decision like, oh, I'm gonna try to make $1 million. Like, no, I'm gonna try to make $100 million. Like I'm making the goal big, big, big because, well, if I fail, that's okay. At least I'm trying to strive past what I know that
Right.
I'm able to do. So, sorry, I just completely lost what I was saying. What was I
No,
saying?
you're okay, but it's definitely about challenging yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not settling for anything minimal. Like you're truly challenging yourself and trying to go past and beyond, what most people's expectations are, I guess. And it's the same thing for us, building that legacy because and it's even not even trying, right? You actually are doing it. You're not
Yeah.
just trying, like this is you actively doing it and you're
Mhm.
on that path, right? You're following your path, you're on your way to that point. It's just kind of changing again that mindset and verbiage and kind of how you put out certain things into the universe. And so that was always something that, him and I talked about is we're first generation. Both his parents and my parents are from Mexico. And so we were the first individuals born here in the United States. And we kind of felt like we were holding this torch in the sense that, we're leading our family to financial wealth and freedom. And so that's kind of just been a really big thing for us is, we're not going to settle for, a few million. No, we're going to settle for the big image and what we want. And we want to be truly maybe even truly in the billions, I guess you could say, right? Because we really just want a family office. We want our, kind of like the what's his name? Kind of like a Disney, right? Not to that extent, but kind of like a Disney where we're family name, where our family lineage is essentially secured for a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, and that's a, everybody says, what's your why? Why are you doing this? That's the most important thing. And, I couldn't think of anything greater for you guys to, have that as your goal and then have that as your why. I think that it really sets you apart because nothing is going to stop you when you have such a powerful why and
For
why
sure.
I'm going to do this, and it shows through what you guys do day
All
in
right.
and day out. And
Thank you.
I mean, you really got to treat it like you got a boss, like you got someone on your back, you know what I'm saying? Just like telling you exactly what to do. But at the end of the day, it's just yourself,
I'll even
Yeah.
say to that, I tell myself a lot, if I don't listen to myself, I'll be demanded by another person, right? And I really don't want that for myself or for anybody else. And so I make sure that I'm true and honest to myself. That way there's no one actually looming over me telling me what it is I need to do, right?
Yeah.
I have full control over, I guess, my destiny, and so does everybody else.
Absolutely. I believe it 100%. I believe we all have a millionaire in us. I believe we're all super, super special, super unique, and we all have something to give to the world.
For sure.
I'm super glad that I've had you guys on today. Y'all are giving to the world through my podcast. I hope that anybody out there that watches this gets a ton of value. And if there's anything that you guys want to promote, y'all can do that. I'm going to throw all your social medias and everything in the description. So
Yeah.
Shit, that brother. Yeah.
anything else?
I mean,
If anybody wants to JV with us, we're over here in Arizona. We're pretty much just focused on pre-foreclosures at the moment. That's kind of what our foundation is going to be built on. So if anybody has any pre-foreclosure questions or anything, please reach out to us. We're also interested in buying some deals. So
I'll put a plug in. Anyone who's looking to get into door knocking and possibly be, a part of the team and door knock for us, and I guess receive value by having us as a resource. I would love to then speak to that person and see what we can provide. But I also want to extend a hand out to you, Patrick. And as I see you growing in real estate, I mean, please reach out to us anytime you have something you want to underwrite. Obviously, I do a lot of creative underwriting. I know how to underwrite multifamily and really focus myself on those types of things. So for you personally, like just let us know what we can do for you. I love your story. I love the fact that, you and your wife have had a pretty incredible mission across, getting to where you guys are at right now, where you were before.
Yeah.
And so, I'm handing you your flowers because I think that's a pretty powerful thing to even have as a part of your story. I think it's super impactful, like Joseph said, because a lot of people do fall susceptible to, I guess, their environment.
yeah.
And so kudos to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the both of you, Joseph, Andrea. Both of y'all have been great. I would love to have you back sometime, and I will be reaching out. So y'all just keep your phones close. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank
We
you, brother.
appreciate you,
All
Patrick.
right. Such a great time. Have a good
All right.
one.
Have a good night.
Thank you, brother.
Bye-bye.